Dubai Eye 103.8.
Yeah, as you have just heard in those headlines, UAE authorities, the Economy Ministry, urging people not to stockpile food and other goods. Now, that is a call that has been echoed online by the supermarket chain Spinneys. We're very pleased to have in the studio this morning the Spinneys Commercial General Manager, Tom Harvey. Tom, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Tell us how you're working with authorities in order to keep those shelves full at the moment.
Okay, well, look, I think it's important to start by saying we're quite well rehearsed in this. So COVID gave us many opportunities to learn and make sure that all the right protocols are in place to protect stocks. We have been liaising with the Ministry of Economy for several months about making sure that the stocks are updated, and certainly the weekend has been very, very busy making sure that we keep in touch with them. We are absolutely fine. We have got some interruption on the shelves because of panic buying, but stocks that are available in the country are not a problem. As Spinneys and Waitrose, we have our own distribution centre. We also have 7 of our own factories. So we have a lot of goods already here that we use for manufacturing, and we will continue to make sure that we get goods onto the shelves as quickly as possible.
Okay, let's dig into that. 7 factories. What do you actually make here?
So we've got all sorts of things. We have our own bakery. That's a very important one. We also have a deli that makes all the nice sandwiches and dips. There is a halal butchery, a non-halal butchery, a fish factory, and we even have one for making lovely bouquets of flowers.
Which, given that our producer just got engaged over the weekend, we are going to be probably tapping you up for. So that's where we are at the moment. You're working with the government. Are you also working with your competitors, with other supermarkets?
We're certainly keeping in touch to make sure that we, as an industry, as a total supply chain, can support one another. It is obviously very early days, and we'll see how things move through almost by the hour. But yes, I have had a couple of calls with other retailers over the weekend to just check in and understand what are we seeing, what are they seeing. We all have a responsibility to support all the citizens of the UAE, and that's very much what we're focused on.
Well, I saw a message that you'd put up on social media over the weekend asking people to just buy what they need. Have we seen people with some full trolleys over the last couple of days?
We have seen people with some very full trolleys over the last, certainly when I was out in stores yesterday morning. And as a result, we have got some issues in terms of lack of availability on the shelves. We will get those shelves refilled very, very quickly. And so we're very much urging people, there is no need to stock up. I'm sure there are still a few people who are still running through their stockpile of loo rolls from COVID. We'd encourage people not to do that again.
So any gaps, is that purely in getting stuff out of the warehouse and onto the shelves?
Yeah, it really is just about getting stuff replenished. We don't have big storage facilities within our stores, so we hold everything centrally, and then a lot of product we're making fresh every day, so we have to move that through. So we will get everything covered. Now, it may be in certain instances that perhaps one brand of tinned tomatoes is not there, but there are plenty of other brands available. So
other tinned
tomatoes are available. So it's very much the stock situation will be fine.
What can people do at the moment to make life as easy as possible for your staff? We know a lot of people are working from home. If you're manning the tills in a supermarket, that is not an option. What can we do to make life a bit less stressful for them?
Well, look, we're here, we're working, and I would like to say actually an enormous thank you. We have had a lot of messages of support coming in from customers over the weekend for the fact that we have got staff out there in the stores, in the trucks, in the warehouse, in the factories, all working to make sure that we have got food on the shelves. So really, we would just ask, please behave as normal as possible. Don't buy a lot at a time. It's not necessary. Just behave as if it's any other day of the week in terms of how you want to be buying your groceries, and leave the rest to us. We'll get on and make sure we can serve you as best as we possibly can.
What about deliveries? Do you want customers to come in, or would you rather they order? What actually, again, makes life easier for you and your staff and your processes?
I think it's certainly easier if people can come into the stores. One of the things we have seen is a very significant increase in the in the demand for our e-commerce services. That is putting some slots at a position of more demand than we have capacity for, and so we have had to limit that. So coming into the stores definitely helps because people can be picking the goods off the shelves themselves. Also, where we do get these little bits of interruption, it's far quicker, far easier for a customer to be able to choose the alternative tin tomato brand themselves than be waiting for one of our customer service team to call and check which one you want to swap it for.
Spinach Commercial General Manager Tom Harvey coming in to talk to us on the back of that announcement from the UAE Economy Ministry saying that we've got plenty of food. You do not need to stockpile, something that Spinneys has been echoing online. We appreciate your time this morning as we keep you informed and updated. One of the announcements coming out from the Ministry of Economy this weekend, in fact, probably a piece of guidance, calling on people not to stockpile when shopping. We're very pleased to be joined by the Choitrim CEO, Mark Mortimer-Davis. Mark, it's lovely to see you again. Good morning.
Good morning again. How are you?
Feels like you were only in here about 5 minutes ago as the new Choitrim CEO talking about those lower prices. Slightly different circumstances this morning. The Ministry of Economy is calling on people not to stockpile. They say that stocks are plentiful. Tell us where you are in terms of sufficient inventory.
I think, look, if you look, I've been out here in the Gulf for both of the Gulf Wars. And what the countries did during that time, they learned to manage their supply chains. And I think today what you're seeing is the result of all that hard work. The supply chain is in very good condition. We've been speaking with the ministry since Saturday, and they've been in our stores. They've been taking data off us since then. We carry enough stock for maybe 60 days. Our suppliers also have stock in their systems. So I think there is a very robust supply chain put in place by the government because they've had past learnings. And I think all of that has gone into effect. We've had a very busy weekend with the ministry, just sharing information and talking about the best way to get everything calm and settled.
How reliant are you on food coming from outside? How much do you have that is manufactured locally, suppliers who are making and growing here as well?
Yeah, so there's a large amount of our produce, obviously, that comes in, and it's in different categories. So our fresh, a lot of it comes in from abroad. We were actually receiving shipments over the weekend, containers of apples and oranges. Longer life product like meat, we have much in storage. Frozen, obviously, again, dried products is a much higher level. Some of it is manufactured locally, and those manufacturers would maybe be 30 to 50% of our products, depending on which category. And I think the supply chain, we've been speaking to all our suppliers over the weekend, and the supply chain remains strong and robust. So it's in a good situation at the moment.
Now, the authorities are calling on people not to stockpile. Yeah. What have you seen in customer behaviour over the weekend?
Well, our stores tend to be slightly smaller. So it's not a problem of stock. It's a problem of replenishment. You know, we obviously work on a fairly measured way of our sales. So when people rush in, and, you know, you see social media pictures of gaps. It's not that we don't have the stock. We just can't get it onto the shelves quick enough. So we have seen a little bit of a rush. I would say to people, don't stockpile. It just causes you mental and financial stress. You know, that the stock is there. Just give us the time and our staff the time to just get it on the shelf for you. And shoppers normally, I would say, if you want to, you know, stockpile a little bit. If you buy some fresh milk, buy 1 packet of UHT. If you buy fresh vegetables, take a couple of packets of frozen. You know, it's Ramadan, so the worst thing you can do when things calm down is donate any extra stock you've given to charity, and everything will be back to normal, I'm sure, quite soon.
You mentioned there bearing with staff as they get stuff out of warehouses and on the shelves. What else can shoppers do to help your staff out at the moment?
I think shop as normally with times as you can. When you go in the stores, just give them a little thank you. They've worked double hours, some of them, in Ramadan over the weekend just to make sure everything is there for you. A little bit of patience, because we obviously have a lot of stock going from our central warehouse to our stores constantly, and the particular item you want might be on one of those trucks on the way, and you may see some things, your air freighted French oysters may be out of stock for a couple of days, but I'm sure all the basics are in place.
We'll call that a high class problem, Mark.
Yeah, it's a high class problem, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and joining us this morning. I know you're busy, you're looking after stores not just here in the UAE but around the region as well. The Choitrams CEO, Mark Mortimer-Davis, talking to us this morning as Choitrams and the Ministry of Economy call on people not to stockpile.